Amaze me the way that she dances, ain't afraid to take chances, and wears her heart on her sleeve. Yeah, she's crazy, but her crazy's beautiful to me. Mandamos micrófonos a Mirna. Buenos días.
Good morning, buenos días, mi gente. How's everyone doing? It's Monday y está lloviendo, but we're still here in the Down and Real show with the CEO Diva. But oh my God, today I have two other powerhouses aquí conmigo, so va a estar buenísimo. I told y'all did not want to miss this, and I wanna start with. Aunque estaba lloviendo, y'all made it.
Yes, it's been crazy.
You know, people make excuses for everything.
They're real bosses. No
I know,
excuses. We show up.
Exactly. So it's like, no matter what, we're going to make it. We're going to come through. Yes. And that's why y'all, por eso están donde están. Did y'all know that? All right, guys. I'm just sharing the thingy. What is it? The thing, so y'all can jump on. Y'all just can comment on any of them. I even went live on mine porque I want to make sure everybody sees it because it's very, very important, guys. Especially ahorita al final del año, todos tienen New Year's resolutions. Todos quieren empezar algo nuevo. Y honestamente is the action you take. So today I have with me these amazing business queens, okay? I'm kind of over the boss babe thing. Like, so I like the business queens. So I here proclaim you as business queens. Hey.
From Dr. Myrna Martinez.
Right, from Dr. Myrna Martinez. Yes. But y'all want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm Nettie Hernandez. I'm a multi-business owner. I have a tax service business, which we don't just do tax preparation, we do all other services. And then I also have an aesthetics business, facials, body contouring, laser, Botox, all the above.
Like, see, that's what I'm saying, like a total boss, pero the point is que tienes un montón de negocios, and it's not, you're not sticking to one stream of income. Made it into multiple streams. Well, Vanessa got multiple streams of income too. Tell us about it, Vanessa.
My name is Vanessa Estrada. I also run two businesses. Changing Lives Investments was the real estate aspect, where I do anything from buy and fix and flip houses, and also wholesaling and mentoring people, specifically women, but any also younger generations, and showing how to be able to change their lives with real estate. And then we also go out and educate homeowners of their options when they're facing distress situations and foreclosure, back taxes, inherited properties. And then I have my notary business, J&K Notary and Professional Services. With that business, I offer evictions also for properties or landlords. And then I do loan signings for title companies and many other options that I offer. That's why it's professional services, because I skip trace for realtors or title companies who have deals that are dead in the water. I specialize in finding missing heirs of that sort. So yes, it's important to have multiple streams of income, I feel, in this day and age, because it's just hard for anybody out there. So it's important to have that, guys.
I mean, I think what makes it even more is the fact that y'all are so passionate at what y'all do. Like y'all are so authentic with what you do, pero al final del día y'all have a purpose with it, and that's why it was so important for me to get these ladies together, guys. Okay, all right. So shout out to everyone. I see Mariah, she's like pretty mama. Bedrick, morning, ready to learn. And Mariah, do y'all big one. Okay, who's Mariah? Do you know?
That's my daughter.
That's your daughter? Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so sweet. Okay.
She'll graduate this year, so I'm trying to pour that into her.
Good. So you got lots to learn, girl. All right. So I guess it's so exciting that I don't even know where to begin. What do y'all think we should begin in, or like why do y'all think we decided to do this more than anything?
I think first thing is definitely educating the public. I think that has been one of my biggest goals. I think ever since I started, because I didn't have anybody to really show me anything. I had to learn as I went. So to me, making somebody else's life easier, like, hey, go ahead and start, like.
And we relate on that, right?
Yeah, we all do, because that's what it's about. Like you said, I think where we come from, like, they don't educate you in the hood about starting a business, what to do. You know, like, everybody's mindset is that you have to work for corporate America.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of people who are scared because people keep telling them, no, don't do it. You're going to fail. And what are you going to do then?
Right.
But, you know, that was one of the things when I shared my story, is that my mom kept saying that, well, you need retirement, you need insurance. And I kept saying, but I started, you know, I listened to a lot of podcasts, and Terry Savelle is one of the biggest, she's like a really amazing teacher, but she shares a lot of stories about people who tried and they failed 500 times, 800 times. Some of the most successful people, like even Walt Disney, you know, he was very successful, but it took him many times to get there. And so that's what people have to understand in business. Like, I'm sure that a lot of people see us now and always want to say, must be nice, but they don't understand the failures that we've had to get where we are today, right? Nobody sees the whole backstory or walked in our shoes to see what it took to get there. I can say from my own personal experience, I mean, it took for me and my kids to be homeless to say, I'll never be homeless and hungry again for my kids. And so sometimes people say, oh, why do you can sleep until 1, but I'm like, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you don't have that, because if you don't wake up and show up, you know, we don't have nobody to come call in and say, hey, I'm not coming in today, cover my shift. You know, like we say, you have to show up to make it happen. If you don't show up, it doesn't happen. And so I think that's important, that we can pour that into other people and to our gente, and to show them that there is a way, and that if we can do it, that God's not a respecter of person, that God can do it for them also.
Yeah. I mean, he has favorites for a reason, okay, guys? It's not just that he wakes up one day and he's like, you're my favorite, but that's what I'm saying. We all started with nothing, okay? Vanessa, how you had to go through it. I like yours when you talk about, because a lot of people talk about I want, right? Oh my God, this and that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pero tu historia was about, I don't know if you got to hear it.
Yes, I did. I heard her.
I want it and I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. She was accustomed to that. And she was saying that her dad, she had a way of that, you know, she was used to living, and she wasn't going to settle for less, which is great. Because we should be able to expose our kids to that. And I feel like even people like that grow up in poverty, like they don't have exposure to anything else, right? So their mindset is like, oh my gosh, like, we're gonna stay here. And I'm gonna share a funny story. But and I told Fred, me and Fred were talking about this the day about not exposing our kids to things. But like growing up, my mom was, you know, we were really poor, and we lived in a house that was really bad. At the time, I didn't think it was bad because that's all we knew, right? But now when I look back where I have my kids are at, me and my sisters used to take a bath in the bathtub, and the wall was like falling down. It was covered in black, and at the time I didn't know what that was, but it was mold. And I think now, like, oh my gosh, like, what the hell are we thinking? But that's what we knew. That's all that we were exposed to, and we were okay with that, right? And so now, you know, I try to take my kids to other areas, like, you know, that are nicer areas, and show them this is something you can have. I don't want you to think that you're limited, that your mindset is closed off, you know? And we need to do that. We need to be able to expose other people to show them what it can be, that they can go to that next level.
And that is so real. You know, my family has been living in the same apartment complex for 30 years. Wow. They are still living there till this day, they still live there. Same apartments where, you know, I went through it all and all those things, right? But my thing is, why would they think that's okay, right? Because, girl, like, it's that, okay.
There's not, like you say, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's about your mindset.
No, like, you cannot put more caulking on this bathtub. Stop trying to, like, cover it up, you know, like.
Or paint over.
Yes. Yeah. No, or el techo ya está, like, tanta burbuja de agua, you know, like, oh my God, it's so bad. Like, the floors are coming out. I mean, 30 years, guys. Like, come on now. And, you know, especially right now, I'm actually cleaning my house, okay? I haven't paid anyone to come out and clean my house right now because I genuinely wanted to embrace my home, like, actually, like
feel.
Yes, feel it, like, connect with it. And it's crazy to me because I'm like, wow, like it might not be the biggest home, but it's so like me growing up looking at this, I would have been like, es una mansión, like it's hermosísimo, right?
Yes.
And you know, like just the little stuff, like our dining room, our kitchen, our island, like those were dream things to have, and now that we have them, it's like,
Wow.
pero do people talk about the fact that I used to sleep in my beds?
Yes.
Right? Like,
Struggles.
that was what, a few months ago that I had to sleep because
You
when
were
somebody,
working and
yeah, like when somebody calls in, I have to go in, right? And like, that's the entrepreneur part that people don't understand. We jump in and we make no excuses. Like, we're going to go out
We
and
have
get
to
this.
show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go out and do it. And so combining those minds, guys, she went through it. She lived through it, right? And now she's doing something that benefited her. But now she's helping other people change lives, right? And then we got someone that, you know, wanted it and went after it and was like, you know what, that's it.
Like,
Like,
take it away.
yeah, you gotta tell me no, right? And then now it's like, what more of an example do you want? Because this is what it is about. And the fact that y'all keep it real, like, y'all are not over here sugarcoating things. It is what it is. We lived through this. We went through that. What is something that you recommend people to understand about business formation, or something like ahorita que gente no están haciendo?
I feel like, especially in our community, like Latinos, they don't realize that they actually do have a business already started. Me starting, you know, whenever I started doing taxes, I had all these clients that would tell me, oh, you know, I have a landscaping business, but it's not registered. I don't want to register it because the IRS is going to take my money. I think that's a very misconception that people have. Like, hey, you know, like, why wouldn't you want your business to grow? You know, they limit themselves. And I like to teach them, like, no, like, what if you can grow another landscaping business and have somebody else run it? For all that, you need to have something to where you show structure, history, that you've been doing landscaping for so many years. If you want, let's say, a bank to let you borrow a loan, some money, then they want to see that. So I think they limit themselves without knowing, thinking that they're saving money and not giving to the IRS, but you're really not. If you want to grow even further and have everything like in a legal way, you have to register your business with the state. If you have, let's say, people that you contract, because in those businesses we always have like new people coming and going. I would say not a lot of people stay for a long time. So if you're in that business, we're always hiring. You know, we're always hiring. They're leaving, and then they're thinking they have to pay the taxes for them. And that's another thing. Like, no, you know, they don't have any, let's say, legal status. They don't have anything, and they can get an ITIN. You know, they can go ahead and get an ITIN so that they can give them a 1099, and they don't have to pay those taxes.
There's always options.
Yeah, there's always options to save money in a legal way by deductions and credits.
What do you think about business versus hobby?
A hobby, even in the eyes of the IRS, you cannot have a hobby for more than 3 years. So
that's good to know.
You can't make sure it's more than
you'll trigger an audit.
Yeah.
So they want to see some kind of like, okay, we give you 3 years to where you're actually paying back to the IRS.
So como es like ¿cómo se llama por la county? Oh my god.
DBA.
Yeah, it's just a DBA, right? Okay. So a DBA versus an LLC.
One LLC will actually protect your business assets against your personal.
So do you think like a person with a hobby should go to a DBA first and then go into a LLC? Or like in what aspect would someone actually go through the steps of an LLC? Because I feel once you get your LLC, you're kind of official. Like,
yes. Well, I always recommend going official since the start.
Okay.
You know, if it's something that they do on the side and they're just going to do it maybe 2 months, let's say people that cook, which they shouldn't really be cooking.
Yeah.
But I have multiple clients that they say they have hobbies and do this, but they do it so often.
Yeah.
So that would be like an LLC. Yeah, you got a structure since the beginning.
So ¿qué pasa si let's say como right now in the pandemic was like a big thing with everybody. They're like, oh, you know what? I lost my job and I'm gonna start doing shirts or I'm gonna start doing cups or whatever. Everybody was doing cups,
Yes.
right? So they were doing it through that time, and they ended up opening an LLC, but ya no lo están haciendo. What happens then?
They would have to dissolve it.
So dissolve it. So you would recommend hey, especialmente si no lo están haciendo.
Oh yeah, especially with the new BOI requirements right now. They're really strict as far as making sure that if you have an LLC and haven't reported, they're about to fine people like daily. And you're talking about $500 daily.
And I love that. I love that you shared that, because I got the notice and I was like, oh, I don't know how to do it. But you shared a link to your website, and I that's how I did it, because I was like, I'm all about if I could save money and do it. But Nettie really helped guys. Like, even if you don't, she's charging really cheap to do it, because she's charging for her time and her knowledge, right?
Yes.
So you pay for people's time and knowledge, but it's a very helpful, because I did it and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they accept. But they did, and so that saved me, because I was like, I'm not trying to get fined at all. But it's important. Some people think like it's not true, but when it comes to IRS, they're gonna come for their money.
And it's not even IRS; it's FinCEN, and this is a financial crimes network.
Oh, okay.
So this is pretty much like they're making sure that you're not doing any money laundering, drug trafficking, just having a fake LLC.
Yeah.
So that's what, especially if they don't have it registered.
There was a lot of
they
fraud.
haven't. Yeah. They can get in trouble. So dissolve it, guys, if you're not going to use the LLC, or you did one a couple of years ago. Believe me, it's still out there. It's probably inactive, but you still have to come up to date and report it and dissolve everything.
Especialmente ahorita.
Yes.
I know these are questions that we normally don't ask, guys, but I wanted to, I want y'all to think for a moment, because entrepreneurship is not for everyone, and people do not understand that. Like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs say it. There's nothing wrong with being who you are. There's a person that loves structure, the one that's disciplined, that likes the same routine over and over and over, and they're good with the faithful check, and that's it. It's great. We all need those people. But if you're becoming an entrepreneur, you're saying, I'm going to be responsible. I'm taking this responsibility. I'm not putting fingers at nobody. I'm not saying it's their fault, my husband's fault, my wife's fault. Like, this is your responsibility.
It's like your baby.
Yeah, and you got to figure out who to ask, where to go, willing to invest into that business, and willing to find those people that are going to guide you. There's no more pride. There's no more, oh, you know what, like, I'll figure it out by myself.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. That's why there's so many books. There's so many, resources right now, because people literally give you the way they did it. Now, Nettie actually has a book on, how to get that set up. So definitely.
It's a very small booklet, but, people have told me to start a book. I'm like, maybe.
Yes, why not, right? Pero eso es lo que me gusta, porque mira, your powerhouse is not what Nettie does.
No.
And it is not mine either, okay? As much as I love business development, I do not like teaching it. I do not like doing it for people. But that is something that you're so good at. And you even take it further to taxes and to business credit and all those things.
Yes.
And you're living proof. So no es como que solamente estás inventando, because a lot of people will talk that they do things y no las hacen. But how much knowledge do you got on real estate investing?
I know.
And that's where this thing comes in.
I want to know. I'm here.
So this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so when you have your successful business, and you know what, tienes tiempo to go out and do something else, I think real estate investing is one of the best things. But fun fact is that you do not need money to get started. You do not need to have a successful business to get started.
Literally, guys. I mean,
Very
that's the truth because I will give credit. Frederick is my other half, and he's the one who, when I first met him, and he was like, "Let me show you how to make money in real estate," and I was like, me and my kids had nothing. I was like, I literally don't have a pot to pee in, right?
Yeah.
To say for the better language, but I was like, how am I going to buy? How am I going to get into real estate? Like, I have nothing. And he was like, just let's sit down and talk about it. But I remember doing my first deal and making $5,000, and I brought nothing to the table. And I was just like, this is no way this can be real or legit. But we closed at a title company, so it was very legit. And that's when I just started thinking, like, this is life changing because
Yeah.
I mean, with that 5,000, I bought my first cash car because I had a Tilton note, but at that point, I knew that was something I wanted to do. But also, I looked at it as an opportunity because so much of our gente, and not only Latinos, but the African Americans, people who are not educated in the what options are in real estate. And I wanted to use that opportunity. I said, what, I'm not only going to use this to make money, but I want to use it to be able to educate people.
Right.
And that's why I named my company what I did, Changing Lives, because I said, even if I can't buy your house and sell it, at least I've educated and poured the knowledge into you about what your options are, what real estate is. And also because I teach, many people who are in my situation, I'm like, you're one deal away from changing your life, because that's all it took was for me to change my life. And then from there, I never imagined mentoring. And as I've grown, people are like, can you mentor me? Can I shadow you? And I just like, it's amazing, but it's only glory to God that I'm able to do what I do. But yes, I mean, real estate is always going to be around. Everybody always needs somewhere to live or to rent. It's nothing that you can ever go wrong with, guys. It's going to be around for centuries.
When someone is like, okay, you know what, I want to do that. Like, what is the best way for them to actually get into it? Because you can go to all these workshops, all these seminars and things like that, but I felt like there's not really people that are authentically helping you. It's just like como para el evento, right?
And it's funny you say that. I'm mentoring a guy right now, actually, a guy that I met through my business account through Chase. And when I went to do some stuff for my account, he was like, "Oh, what is Changing Lives? Like, I see it and it says investments." And so I said, "Well, we do real estate." I said, "I do wholesaling, but also, do buy, fix and flip." And I said, "But I also mentor." He's like, "No way." He's like, "I've been looking for somebody to show me this way." And he's like, "But people charge crazy amounts."
Yeah.
And people always ask me, Vanessa, I mean, if I was in the business to do that, and there's some people that's what they make a business, that they learn what real estate is, and then they charge you $10,000, $5,000 for a 2-day seminar. Unfortunately, that's not what I believe that I'm here for. I mean, I always told God, one day I won't be in the position I'm in where I'm standing in line for food. One day I'm going to be able to give back to people. And I feel like this is my opportunity to give back to people.
Yeah.
So, I tell people, like, you don't have to go pay all that money. Like, it's as easy as starting to drive around and look for properties. I do charge a little for my mentorship, but just because of the fact that I learned when I was doing it for free, that people would take advantage of that and weren't respecting my time, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't show up, or they would show up, and then I would tell them, like, you have 2 hours of my time, and then they would take 3 to 4 hours of my time. And I'm like, I run 2 other businesses. I'm very busy, but I take the time out of my day to do it for free, and I feel like you should value and respect that. I find now that if I charge people, they do value that a little more because it's money that they put into it, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not hard. I mean, basically, when I first started doing this, I would just drive around and write addresses down. But you're looking for properties that are distressed or vacant. I also get a list, that has foreclosure properties on it before they're going to go to foreclosure. And those are things that we target. So it's not, I know a lot of people see social media and see like, oh, go get a contract and get this property and you're rich the next day. No, these take work. Yeah. And I can't tell you the amount of people that have started off with me and said, oh, I'm all for it, girl, let's do it. But once they see, like, sometimes it could take me a month. I've had a deal in 3 days, right? But then sometimes I've had a deal that's taken 3 to 2 years, right? But at the end of the day, those 2 years, the payoff was worth it, right? But it's like with anything you do. It's going to take work. And people who really, truly are hungry and successful, and I think that's why we're all 3 of us are successful, because we stay hungry and passionate about what we do. If you don't have that hunger and the passion, no matter what you do, you're not going to be successful at it, because it takes consistency. Most people nowadays don't want to be consistent. They want a quick get rich scheme or a microwave deal, right? And that's just not going to happen.
It is not. People really need to get over that. Honestamente, there's a reason why there's all these books over these multimillionaires, right? But like they talk about their humble beginnings. Because honestly, it's not you wake up unless you got what is it, Bitcoin?
You woke up one day and
but it does not work like that, okay? And in our reality, it does not. Like, I know you know the feeling of getting shut down. Like literally having doors closed.
Oh yeah. So Myrna, guys, we'll share a story. She's really busy, but when we first met, she was like, "Girl, I want to go door knocking with you," and I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And we had somebody show. She was like, "How do you handle that?" And that's another thing in this industry or any industry, though. You're gonna have people who are rude or whatever, but even more so in mine because we are literally on the ground, guys. I'm very old school. There's probably 1,000 people who do virtual wholesaling or reaching out to buyers to see if they want to sell. So I find that door knocking is more of an advantage for us because most people are intimidated to do it. But I feel like I want to be able to I try to develop a relationship with people that I deal with in whether it be in my notary business or in real estate, because people can see when you're genuine and when you're not just treating them like a number. When you truly show that you have a compassion and care for them, and you can find out, hey, I'm here to bring you solutions, and I think that's what sets me apart from other investors.
Right. And you genuinely like want to know about their problems that they're going through.
Yes.
And like genuinely give them feedback on that. Okay, what is your perspective versus investors versus realtors?
I personally love realtors, but I will tell you in the real estate world, investors and realtors sometimes can perceive as enemies. But that's your mindset again, guys. Like if you look at it as an opportunity to collaborate, because I have many friends who are realtors, and I tell them, you know what? Sometimes I get a deal and it's not always a cash deal, and maybe other investors would still try and lowball them. But I'll be honest with them, be like, look, I don't feel like I'm the best fit for you. I feel like you can go ahead and sell your property retail. But I do have a network of connections of realtors who could go ahead and help you get your property on the market. Where another investor would be like, no, you need to sell it. This is what I can give you. You need to take the cash offer. But I'm not here to rip people off. I really believe in karma, and you reap what you sow. And so I always try to, sow good seeds into people, the truth, educating them. And if it's not for me, it's not for me. But I believe that God will send me another blessing because of the fact that I was honest with them. But it's important, guys, to make those connections with people instead of looking them as somebody who's your competition, because it really does open doors. I mean, I've had then realtors come to me and be like, hey, this deal's not a retail deal. And I'm like, okay, because you gave me the lead, like I'm still going to pay you whatever my assignment fee I made. I'm going to give you 50% of that. And they'll be like, what? And so I'm like, and I've had a couple of realtors I've done this with because they're like, it's just not a retail deal and I can't move it for them. So other people may see that as a bad thing, but I think you need to really change your mindset and see that when you see it as there's enough of the pie for everybody to win, and not that I want it all for myself, then you're going to be more successful because it opens more opportunities for you.
I think I read somewhere, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like, I think it was in the billions or millions, that there's enough for everyone to have at least, I don't know how many millions, to have a set life. Like, that's how much money there is in the world. And every single person can get some of it.
Yeah.
And the only reason that some people have more than others is just because of their mindset.
Exactly.
Which brings me, guys. So one of the things I'm very passionate about is doing your inner work and expanding those containers that you have. The best way I can put it is, if you were, let's say, 21 and they gave you all your businesses that you have right now, will you be able to deal with them? Will you be able to handle them?
I don't believe so.
Here's all these tax preparers. Here goes all these employees. Here. Okay, Vanessa, if you were to be, I don't know, let's say 25. Okay.
No, girl.
25. I'm gonna give you a Benz. I'm gonna give you, what was the biggest cash deal that you got? I think it was like
90,000.
90,000. I'm gonna give you 90,000. I'm gonna give you a Benz, and I'm gonna give you a husband, and on top of that, I'm gonna give you a house in my personal house.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't, because to be honest, like I said, I'm very transparent about my life. You know, I had a drug addiction, so in that time, I still struggle with that drug addiction. So I surely wouldn't have been prepared to deal with any of that, because I don't think I would have been. Honestly, I probably would have just still been out there, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't regret nothing I've been through, but like you say, it was work that it took, because I gave my life to God, and God really, it's only by God's grace and mercy that I'm here and that I've changed. You know, people who knew me back then, they were like, girl, I can't believe you're the person you are today. But, you know, that's what God does, right? He takes and he gives you, you know, beauty for your ashes, right?
And so, this is why your journey is so important. I think we have to go through the things that we've been through. Like, it sucks that there's so much pain involved, and then there's so much like moments. I know that we felt like we want to cry. Just want to like.
I hear stories and I'm like, why am I sensitive?
Right.
It reminds you of where you came from.
Exactly. So it's like, why are the journeys important? They're important because they expand your way of thinking. They expand you to learn how to receive more from the world. And the fun thing is that God is willing to give it all to you.
Yes.
Like, he wants you to have it all. But you will not be ready. This is why you need to take time to grow within yourself.
Yes.
Heal from your past. I was talking about earlier, I think it was Facebook. You know, I was not able to appreciate my husband simply because I was stuck in the past. Because I had not healed from it. Like, how was I able to like acknowledge him or see him for what he was if I was still caught up in that? If I would have taken the time to heal, I would have had an amazing marriage from day one. Pero no, you know, I stay in necia. And you know, like, if, you know, God were to have given me a house back then, like, I probably wouldn't have paid the mortgage, to be honest. Like, my thing is que siempre he sido esa persona que agarra dinero and like, and I'm like so like, I don't know, it's like an adrenaline, like I just want to like waste it and all. And then, but I
think that's anybody that, you know, who's never been exposed to money, right? So you have to learn what it was to have that money, because, you know, there's people where I put $180,000 in their pocket. And then the guy went through it in 3 months, and I was like, that's crazy. But again, it's because he wasn't ever exposed to it. I did try to teach him, like, hey, invest, start a business, but, you know, he didn't want to. But, you know, again, like it says, you get excited and you feel like, oh, I got to go spend all this money. But, like, smart, you thank God that our mindsets have changed and we've been taught different right now in a business aspect.
Congratulations, Vanessa. Woo! So her hubby's like, so, you know, while you're on radio, away from the office, we just got a house deal, just came in for $25,000, flip house deal in Arlington, Texas. Wow. You know what I mean?
Right? Because I think at one point, I'm thankful that Frederick has came into my life, but when I first met him, I was really angry, and I felt like, especially because my ex-husband took everything that, you know, he sold everything, that I felt I had trust issues. Like, hell no, I ain't trusting nobody. I got this, because if this happens to me again, I ain't going to be left with nothing, which I'm still wise to some sense and protected, but Frederick has showed me to trust him and let him be the man, right? Like you say, because at some point where we grow up without a dad, right, we feel like we have to be the más chingona and we're it and that's it. We don't need no man. Like, even there's days that I'll be like taking out them first, like, I can help you. All you got to do is ask, right? But it's because we have to learn to change that mindset and don't feel like we have to do everything on our own, right? We don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. Like, God sent us a helpmate for a reason.
You know, that thought right there was so hard for me to understand, like, because you have to bring walls down, unfortunately. Like, we have to be precautious, but at one point you're going to have to learn how to trust people and how to collaborate with others, even when you've been through it, okay? So I'm like, I will say, when you heal, guys, like, you heal for you. You don't heal for anybody else. You don't do it for your spouse. You don't do it for your kids. You do it for you, okay? So, like, once you heal, like, those pains, those traumas that you've been through, at that point, that person might do you wrong, right? Like they might betray you, they might do this. But the difference between you not being healed and you being healed is that you move on flawlessly.
Yes.
Once you get betrayed,
because you don't have those barriers there. Because really, it is a stumbling block for you,
it's
right?
heavy.
It's like heavy. It's holding you back. You know, I have my 17-year right now. She's kind of emotional because of a relationship with her and her dad, right? And I told her, you know, I can't ever be your dad, but you know, thank God he has sent Fred to love you. And I said, but also you have to let that go. I said, because bitterness and resentment will really eat you up. And I've learned that. Like I was very bitter and resentful for a long time to men in the world. And I had to realize that I had God, you know, God showed it to me. It's like, you have to let that go. That's not who I created you to be, you know, like God is a God who loves you, and that vengeance will be upon him. Right. And he showed me that. He was like, you have to heal for yourself, because when you can let that go, you can be free, and God can elevate you so much more when you're not holding on to that bitter, that angerness, that resentment. And you're a different person. You glow.
All of them true to the point that you got your husband at the office. You está aquí en the gas station. I know, getting that 25K.
Yeah.
But that's what, you know, letting go of that bitterness. Porque si no, I estuvieras tirándole algo en la cara, telling them this or that. But here you are, you figured it out. Now you're like working together.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, guys. There's a lot that you need to do in layers and layers and layers. I don't know if I believe that someone would be 100% healed. Like, I just don't know
what scars. You know how sometimes we have scars and they out of nowhere hurt.
Yeah,
it's like the same thing with healing. You know, out of nowhere something might trigger it. But
yes, I believe that.
Yeah, you just have to learn
your triggers, guys. They're important because oh my God, they'll pop up in the worst case. Like, but okay, so estamos hablando sobre diferentes cosas cuando se trata de investing y cuando se trata de business formation. Okay, what is one thing that y'all think that would be a good thing for people to get involved in if we were to do something together?
Starting a
business. I think that people are fearful, right, of just stepping out and doing it. So I think that that's one thing we can all agree on, is that you just have to take action and stop being fearful. And if you're scared, we have a great event coming soon that where we want to be able to pour into others and show you that we can guide you along the way. Because at the end of the day, you can sit in a what if world all day long, but what ifs is something that may never happen, and you won't ever know until you try. Like Nettie would never have known that she could run the 3 businesses she runs. And Myrna is very humble. She'll only say a couple things, but she actually runs 5 businesses. But they would have never known if they would have never started out and tried. And that's the same with me. If I would have listened to all the naysayers that said, oh no, you know, you're going to fail. You can't leave corporate America. You need this. But I am where I am now because I tried, and we want to be able to give that push to our gente to say, whatever your gift is or whatever you feel that you want to start a business in, you're never going to know until you start out and do it the right way, guys. Like get you an LLC or get you a DBA, because you don't want to limit yourself. When you begin to get it the official way, God is going to open so much doors for you. You'll have so much more exposure. And it is.
I think with that being what you're saying, you're not alone. Okay? So if you're thinking, okay, we're at the end of the year, right?
Yes.
Y todos van a decir, oh my God, mi nueva resolución es bajar de peso, es comer mejor, es limpiar la casa. Something that I even started doing my own self was, I'm not going to do New Year resolutions this year. What are the things that I want to change in my life? What are things that I've been so passionate and I keep saying that I want to change, but I never do, right? I wrote that list and I legitimately I just jumped in on it, whatever it was. One of the main things was that I wanted to have my house deep clean my way, like little deep clean, right? And so I discovered bleach by itself. Because fabuloso leaves, I love the scent of fabuloso, but it leaves the film, right? Like okay, it is.
And
okay,
I'm not going too much of it is also, but yeah, I love fabuloso too, but I found that if you use too much, that it will leave a film.
Because I used it for todo because I love the smell, but then oh my God, bleach. God, it will burn through everything. I think you're like, oh my God, it burns through my leg.
I was just like, you gotta be careful, bro.
Girl, like, why did nobody tell me this? Okay, and mind you, I was never taught to clean or cook. Okay, so, pero diving in. Okay, so like, I discovered bleach the second time around. I actually put gloves. Okay, so now I have gloves. In a little mask.
Oh yes, no, I can't.
But oh my God. So another thing is that I started doing was like, si se me viene. Okay, this is a whole other thing. I don't even want to talk about it because it's gonna confuse everybody. Pero si se me viene a la mente, I need to write it down. Like if it's something that I need to do or an idea or something, I need to go write it down, whether it's in my phone or if it's in my tablet, whatever it is.
Yeah. But most people who are successful or have invented something, if you ever, like I said, I listen to Terry Savelle every day. She has a great podcast, and she talks about that, about journaling. And have something near you all the time, because she says that God will speak to her. So at nighttime, she's like, so I have a notepad by my bed. And she's like, and I'm bad about that, but I really need to do that because there are times that God speaks things to me. But that's great.
No. Exactly.
That's how you get.
So you feel that, okay. And then the other thing is actually acknowledging the things that are happening. Porque I think that we get so caught up in our busy lives that we don't like actually live. You know, like we don't actually appreciate or receive the pleasure of whatever it is that we're doing. So like, yeah, like, so maybe you're washing dishes, which is my case yesterday. Y después se te viene una idea, but you're like, oh, that would have been cool. And you just keep washing dishes. But no, it should be like, oh, okay, I can totally understand why God would want me to do that. Let me go write that down. Like, so, okay. So that's a good thing that I'm not alone on that. So you need to start doing it. We're going to get on to Vanessa. And then another thing is having things done. Like, si es que, I guess this is her thing. If I want it, I need to have it done. Stop making excuses on why I cannot. Like, I want to have my closet organized. Stop making excuses on why it's not organized. Just go freaking do it. So, I started doing all those things. And it's, if y'all know, it happened right after fasting. I fasted for 31 days. And then all this started coming. But anyways, I've been doing it for 3 weeks. And oh my God, my life has changed so much. I love it. I'm so excited about it. And I think everybody should start on whatever resolutions it is that you want. Stop making excuses on waiting till the end of the year or the beginning of the year. Just jump onto it.
Start now.
Yeah, like start making those habits, like breaking those, cursed habits and making them into good ones right now. Para cuando entren en el 2025, ya tienen una rutina diferente, right? Which brings me, if you're thinking about opening a business, right? This is your moment for you to, okay, let's do this together. Okay, so this is little Nettie and little Vanessa. They don't have businesses, okay? They're thinking about starting their business. You know, it's the end of the year and they're like, oh my God, I'm so passionate about something, or they're already doing something, but they don't have it yet. What would y'all do? Right now is November 2024 and you don't have a business, okay? You're thinking about it.
How are we? No.
Like, para que tú le enseñes a otra persona que está haciendo ahorita. Like, they're thinking about starting a business. What would you recommend is the first thing that they should do?
I think for me, it happened because I for 5 years I worked under somebody else, and I have my clientele and I have built clientele. I was just scared to take that step forward. I was scared because I was still working as a medical assistant and I had that steady income. You know, I had my 8 to 5.
That transition point,
I had that secure income versus, hey, you know what? I'm starting my own business. How do I know people are going to follow me? How do I know I am going to be able to move on with the income that I had, or like, you know, substitute it? I think I prayed on it. No lie. I did.
So pray on it first.
I pray on it, and I was like, it took me about 3 months to save a couple checks and have that just in case.
Have a backup.
But if you heard my story last time, I think it was God that interfered and made me take that step because I have been demoted and I was still going to get a pay decrease. And I just, at that point, I was like, this is God talking to me. I'm going to go ahead and take this step. Yeah. I have a little bit saved up. I didn't have a lot. It was just a little bit. And we'll see how it goes.
So pay attention to those circumstances that are happening.
Yes.
I feel that because that happened to me. I don't know.
Yes, I mean, I had a similar story. I worked for corporate America for years. I was working till I was 15. And I was frustrated. I had a boss that was riding me like crazy. Like, I actually had a stroke while working under her because she was just stressing me out. Wow. And I kept telling Fred, I want to quit my job. Like, because I was already doing notary on the side. Yeah. And he was already teaching me about real estate. But he was like, you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't just step out and do it. So, we were praying and praying. And this is where I said God intervened. The same thing, my company, I was actually all on disability. My company called me, I'll never forget it, December 21st. We're reorganizing the company. We're doing away with your department altogether. We will pay you a severance package of like $5,000. So you'll get unemployment and a severance package. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I told Freddie, you know what? I said, I'm not going back to corporate America. And I said, this money that they gave me, I'm going to use it to start my LLC. And he's like, but see, if you would have jumped the gun or got impatient, he's like, you wouldn't have had the money to start your LLC. I mean, I would have, but I would have been in a struggle, right? He's like, but now you have a little cushion money, like, until we know what's coming in. And so, certainly I agree, like, it's all about prayer, right? Like, really listening and staying in tune with God to make sure that it's going to align. And then the rest is just walking by faith, guys, and doing it and know that and trusting God that and putting in the work, I say, right? Yeah. You can't just step out in faith and feel like things are going to fall in your lap. It's certainly going to take you somewhere. You got to put in the work.
You got to, I think it's also take a moment to get mentally prepared for what's coming.
Yes.
That's fair. So, prayer, okay? Look at your circumstances, what's happening, and have a plan of what direction you're going to go. Once you have those things, I need you to mark your calendars for January 2025, okay? Because you're going to want to be in this, what do we call it? Class, seminar?
Yeah, I would say class.
Yeah.
Class. Okay, we're going to have a class for you. It's going to be a power hour. I mean, it's un montón de información, but information that's going to, build you to what you need. And it actually gives you direct access. If you were wanting to become, a mentee with any of us, you will have that. You will have you can ask questions to see if it's a good fit, if it's something that you want to proceed, if you want us to be next to you. So mark your calendars, January 20th, 2025, because guys, we are getting together and we're doing a whole class of power, okay? It's going to be a lot. I need you to get mentally ready. It's not one of those things that you could just go and be like, okay, let's see what this is about. No, this is for someone, I would say more on the women's side because we can relate more to like the things that we've been through.
But we're not discriminating. If a man wanted to.
If you would like to come, but if you want to learn about your business that you want to start, or if you have already started your business and you just want to make sure that you have it the correct way, that you have all the new things. What is the new thing? The VOI. This is the perfect place to come in because you get to talk to Nettie. If you want to learn about real estate investing, if you want to step into it, if you want to start and have a different stream of income, this is your moment to talk to Vanessa and figure out what is the best way to get started or what would be her advice. And she's going to do a quick drop down of the steps that you can take to become an investor. And guys, if it is that you need to heal, if it is that you want to expand and open your mind to different possibilities, I really encourage you to come here because I don't only do motivational speaking for students But I do it for our community as well.
Yes.
I have found that I have a very good gift of motivating and encouraging people to reach the next levels of their potential. And I have learned that I do that because I do that to myself.
Yes.
And
I
so
that. When I met Mauricio,
yeah,
city council, he was like, Myrna is a mover and a shaker. And one thing she can do is she can bring people together and she can motivate you no matter who you are. And that's the truth. Like, you have that gift, and I love that you operate in it because you bring everybody together and help us to collaborate. But when I went, I was there one day. I think you didn't get to make his event. And we went, and I was like, I said, well, Myrna invited us, and he was like, yes, y'all, if y'all don't know Myrna, you gotta know Myrna. She is a mover and a shaker. She's gonna make things happen. So,
shout out to Mauricio. He is our city council for District 1, which is where we're at right now. But thank you so much. That means so much to me. And honestly, I want y'all to feel this vibe, okay? Because I thought they knew each other.
No, we've been following each other since the GMB.
Yeah, but it's so crazy because, like, I just, in my heart, we already knew each other. we already knew each other.
Then Myrna texted me, okay, she's like, hey, I need y'all to meet. She's like, I got a plan. So we loved it.
Yes, so y'all need to feel this.
Yeah.
But I'm just so excited because y'all have so much to show, and y'all are so authentic, so real, and we need more of this. Unfortunately, I feel like there's all these people trying to do things that they're not good at, and I'm not good at doing business for teaching it or showing people. And a lot of people reach out to me to do that, but yo no lo hago because I'm not good at that. And I'm sorry, as much as input, I don't got time to do real estate investing. That's why I went one time with you. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want to like waste your time or anything. I have all my businesses that I need to prioritize. But it's a subject I love. I genuinely love, and I do see myself one day progressing on it and, going out for mimosas and then door knocking again. But you're an expert. You're a professional on it. This is what you dedicated yourself for. And what we're saying is like, hey, if we can combine what we're good at, let's do that, guys. So January 2025, guys, make sure you stay tuned. And actually, I'm going to give y'all one more chance to dive in with us and to ask more questions or to think about what you would like to expect. Next Monday morning at 10 a.m., we will be here together again to give y'all more information on what is up and coming. But guys, thank you so much for checking us out. Estuvimos en vivo desde los nuevos estudios de Radio Metroplex en Arlington, Texas, la capital del deporte, el espectáculo y el entretenimiento, in the Down and Rail Show with the CEO Diva and these beautiful business queens. I will see you next Monday. Woo!
That was good, girl.
I didn't realize what time it was.
I know.
I was like, oh my god.
It went by so quick.
Every single time.
Don't be jealous, my hustle, cause I'm killing all day. I be flexing my muscles, I don't care what they say. See the watch, see the Benz, I could spend my money. So much dough, so much bread, I could have a bakery. Watch out, I'm in my zone, hand me the microphone. They say when in Rome.